A Marine cannot afford $200,000 for wife cancer surgery, ends up in a $32 million heist, a high-speed chase, and holds a cop hostage. Will Sharp, a former Marine and Afghanistan veteran in desperate need of $231,000 for his wife Amy's experimental cancer surgery, contacts Danny, his adoptive brother and a lifelong criminal, who convinces him to take part in a $32 million bank heist. Will agrees after Danny reaffirms that he is doing this for Amy, despite his initial reluctance. With a few key differences, Ambulance is a remake of the 2005 Danish film, Ambulansen. Both stories revolve around brothers who resort to bank robbery to pay for a relative's medical bills. The film begins on an emotionally manipulative register, panning over medical bills and pill bottles bathed in the same golden light that envelops Will's saintly wife, Amy, Moses Ingram, as she cradles their newborn child. Amy's cancer diagnosis has strained the couple's finances. Will reluctantly reconnects with his flashy, glib brother in order to borrow money for Amy's upcoming surgery. But Danny, who Gyllenhaal plays as if he has Red Bull and cocaine for breakfast every day, goes one better. Instead of a few $100,000 to appease the insurance companies, how about $8 million payday? Cam Thompson, Asa Gonzalez, the film's third lead, is introduced. Cam, in typical action movie character fashion, is the best damn EMT the city of Los Angeles has ever seen, capable of keeping anyone alive for 20 minutes, as she puts it. She's also, surprise, cynical and hardened, snapping at her newest partner that it's just a job and she doesn't care what happens to the little girl she just rescued from a bloody car accident in which the child was impaled on wrought iron fencing. Officer Zach Parker, who goes to the bank to speak with a bank teller, discovers the situation and is held hostage by Danny. A shootout ensues between one of the heist's participants and Zach's partner, Officer Mark. The LAPD's Special Investigation Section, SIS, arrives and kills and arrests everyone except Will and Danny, who flee to the garage. Zach attempts to flee and is accidentally shot by Will during a scuffle with Danny. Leaving Zach to die, the brothers try to escape through the back of the building but are met with police. They then take over a Falk ambulance, which is carrying paramedic Cam Thompson, who is treating Zach. The ensuing heist goes horribly wrong, forcing the duo to hijack an ambulance as a getaway vehicle, camouflage in order to escape the police cruisers, SWAT vehicles, and surveillance trucks that surround the bank. Cam makes a desperate attempt to escape using a fire extinguisher after a chase that leads them into an alleyway, but decides to stay when Zach begins to flatline. What can be said is that once the ambulance starts chasing the cop through the streets of a strangely traffic-free Los Angeles, the stakes rise until Cam is wrist-deep in the cop's open chest cavity, performing a life-saving procedure with the assistance of two trauma surgeons who FaceTime in from a golf course. Squishy geysers of blood are erupting from the cop's wound. Danny is behind the wheel, mowing down traffic cones and speeding up highway overpasses the wrong way at 60 miles per hour. Will is strapped to the stretcher, acting as a human blood bag. An FBI hostage negotiator is calling, demanding to know what is going on. Everyone is yelling. Then Cam's laptop dies. Captain Monroe of the SIS arrives on the scene and orders helicopters to pursue the ambulance. Cam convinces Danny to assist her in using a defibrillator and Will to transfer some of his blood to Zach, much to Zach's chagrin. Danny then contacts Pappy, one of his adoptive father's criminal associates, for assistance in getting rid of the cops in exchange for $8 million. Danny threatens to throw Cam off the ambulance after she stops Danny from shooting Mark, who has been chasing them. When the police discover Monroe's dog Nitro inside Mark's police vehicle, they are forced to retreat. Danny's former friend, FBI agent Anson Clark, is assigned to the case. Cam, with Will's help, begins surgery on Zach, whose spleen ruptures, as he begins to bleed out. Cam completes the surgery successfully despite her lack of experience. Cam tries in vain to persuade Will to stop Danny. Monroe, oblivious to the success of the surgery, proceeds with the operation and prepares to snipe Will and Danny without negotiating for Cam's life. Clark calls Cam and tells her to come downstairs. Cam warns Will and Danny about the snipers in order to save Zach's life. Danny, fed up with Cam, decides to shoot her, but Will intervenes, causing the brothers to argue about their situation. They later reconcile in part and listen to music together to relieve tension. Helicopters pursue the ambulance in the Los Angeles River as Danny shoots at them. Will and Danny then drive in the opposite lane of the interstate, causing a series of collisions. On Pappy's orders, his son Roberto drives an empty ambulance filled with C4 explosives towards the police and deploys machine guns on separate cars to cause additional damage, injuring Monroe in the crossfire. After a scuffle, Mark chases down Roberto and accidentally causes him to shoot himself, leaving Pappy enraged and distraught. Will and Danny flee to Pappy's hideout, where Pappy orders the brothers to leave Zach and Cam with them to deal with. Will refuses and joins forces with Danny to kill Pappy and his crew. Cam accidentally shoots Will with Zach's gun during the chaos, mistaking him for one of the gang members. Danny drives the ambulance to the hospital, but when Cam reveals that she was the one who shot Will, he becomes enraged. Before confronting the cops, Danny vows to kill Cam and himself on live television. Will shoots Danny in the back because he has no other option. Before Will dies from his injuries, Danny apologizes to him. When the police question Zach about his injuries, he tells them that Will saved his life.